In Odesa, a port city in southern Ukraine on the Black Sea, Viktor Scicluna's family was about to start a new page, but fate wanted otherwise. Waiting to continue with their lives, the Scicluna family could not believe how their lives were turned upside down. From Munich, where they are now trapped, Mr. Scicluna can only follow the shocking events that have completely ruined the lives of the Ukrainian. An interview by our reporter Claire. The plan of Viktor Scicluna, a Maltese who had lived abroad for the last 30 years, was to start a new life in Odessa in January, together with his Ukrainian wife. But everything changed overnight, even in the city of Odessa, where Viktor Scicluna told us that Ukrainians and Russians live like one family. He described Odessa as a vibrant city, with a coastline of about 20 kilometers, full of vibrant activity and tourists. The calm that reigned was replaced by hatred and fear, and what the Scicluna family had hoped for had vanished. Mr. Scicluna told TVM News that it was Odessa in January to see the final touches of his family's new home, and never predicted that Russia could ever invade Ukraine. I thought Putin was only going to take over the two rebel republics, and when friends used to call me, I used to tell them not to worry. This attack, we never would come so far deep into Ukraine. This IP came, obviously. When we did it, we didn't expect to see the Russian troops. We did it for simple security reasons. Now, this is the way that if Russia were to enter Odessa, they will most probably go through this road. So now with my cam, I first check to see if our apartment clearly is still there. And sometimes we see trucks coming up and tankers going live. This is of course very worrying. We see everything, we see people moving. The port of Odessa is the largest in Ukraine, next to the sea, with extensive facilities and millions of tons of cargo passing through it every year. Mr. Scicluna said the Russian attacks and the invasion had had a severe and disastrous impact that would bring major damage to the Ukrainian economy. In a tone that this still does not seem to believe what is happening in the towns and villages of Ukraine, he told TVM News that shock remained under him after many places from one end of Ukraine to the other ended up looking like war zones. He said they are still in contact with his wife's family, who so far do not want to leave their homeland. My wife's family will have to leave their men alone if they leave. It seems easy, but it's not. One simply doesn't leave relatives when one knows that one may never see them anymore. These are things we see in the movies. But when you're talking to your family and you tell you, sorry, we're going to stop because of an air raid. Now that's hard, very hard. Obviously, there are lots of emotions going on. Mr. Scicluna said sanctions on Russia were needed to suppress the Russian government, but said there was little hope that Vladimir Putin would change his mind. He went on to express his admiration for Ukrainian President Zelensky, who said had the courage to continue fighting to the end despite the strength of the Russian attacks.